Yo, this is DJ Chill Will with Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew, and you're listening to Infinite Banter with my man, DJ Soundwave. Let's go.
Infinite Banter Podcast, baby.
Here it is, another episode of the Infinite Banter Podcast. What is going on? My name is Mark Jolliffe, also known as DJ Soundwave. Really ultra hype for this episode right here. I teased it a couple times and got it together, and it is now here for your eardrums. The one and only, the legend himself, DJ Chill Will from the Get Fresh crew is on the show. Some of you might remember he came on the show about 3 or 4 years ago. And that episode, which I would definitely recommend, play that one. But I get more into like the foundation of how he met Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick and some of the overall classic records. But when I talk to him on this episode, we're just going to focus on the 40-year anniversary of Lottie Dottie and the show. And some of you might be lucky enough to have that single where they're on each side of the record or cassette or however medium you had it on. They both came out. It's my favorite record that I have. One side is Lottie Dottie, the other side is the show. And there's been different versions of each record throughout the years. There's a new 40-year commemorative version that came out in the fall. I copped it from Fat Beats. It's got live versions on there. It's just incredible because these two songs mean so much to me personally. And anybody who's a fan of hip-hop music and culture, I don't have to explain to you why these two songs matter, all right? So you already know. So we're going to get into that. This is the Infinite Banter Podcast, so of course we're going to talk about other things. But we really focus on some of the behind the scenes of Lottie Dottie and the show with one of the guys who was there for all of it, DJ Chill Will. So I'm really excited to do this episode. Very different than the one that you heard recently. What I call the bubble episode. If you want to go hear that episode that I did with Damon Wilson, which is a 6-year-old interview that I never aired, and I cut it down to editable portions that could be used on this show, it's there for you. Because I kind of figured people listening to that might not ever listen to another episode again, and some people who listen to this show all the time might get to that one and be like, what is this? Get back to what you used to do. So we are doing that today. We are back to normal. So as Negan would say from The Walking Dead, I need you to know me. Back to it. And I hit you over the head with an episode with the one and only DJ Chill Will. But before we go forward, we always go back. And in the episode before the one you heard last, and I keep talking about that last episode, I'm trying to avoid it. The one before that one, I had Wordsworth on. And I'm going to play a clip from that episode because Wordsworth was great. As a matter of fact, I'm on his podcast, which should be dropping on March 20th. So stay tuned for that. It's on YouTube. It's a visual podcast, so you see this face along with this voice, so I hope it's okay. But anyway, here's a clip from that episode with Wordsworth, flashback on the Infinite Banter Podcast.
I'm always trying to think of an idea or perspective or angle that I could rhyme from that makes people go, yo, that's kind of crazy. Just rhyming from the perspective of trying to sell you a house, but it's been through a lot of madness going on.
Make sure you check out that episode I did with Wordsworth 2 episodes back. So you have to leapfrog that last one and go back to that one. Definitely had a lot of fun talking with him. And as I mentioned already, I got a chance to do his show that should be coming out on the 20th. And it's on YouTube. It's a visual podcast. So I'm on there looking like how I look. And he basically, he asks me a lot about, my early days of, getting into radio and stuff and how it transitioned into doing the podcast here. So it was really cool to, I do so many interviews with people and it's almost not even a rarity. It just never happens to where I get the reciprocated, hey, do you want to come on my thing? So it was really cool to get that opportunity. And, big salute to Wordsworth, his second time coming on this show. And speaking of the guys who've been on twice, the one and only Chill Will, you'll be hearing very shortly. It's his second time coming on here. After I talk to Chill Will later on in the episode, I definitely want to talk about the passing of Bob Power, one of the legends and icons and one of the greatest, studio engineers of all time. So we'll talk about him later on in the episode. And one last thing from the Wordsworth episode that I had done. I had researched this after I talked to him, and I didn't talk about it in the last episode because that episode is It's nothing to do with anything to do with Wordsworth. He was thinking that Black Star album and A Tribe Called Quest, The Love Movement, came out in the same day, and he is absolutely correct. They both came out on September 29th, 1998, which is just bonkers. I had an idea it was the same year, but the same day, that just blows my mind. So, and he's on both albums. That's why that connects. So I didn't want to let that. I had that note written down. I was like, why did I write this? Oh, yeah, we talked about it in that episode. So if you go back and check out my episode of Wordsworth, it comes up. Now you know the answer before you hear us babble on about it. So anyway, speaking of babbling, the Infinite Banter Podcast. Find it on all platforms. Rate and review the show. Go on YouTube, check out clips and episodes and the things and stuff, review videos. Sometimes I'll review a action figure from Super 7, which is a sponsor of the show, super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. Go ahead and grab yourself that new Tribe Called Quest 4 set. I saw there's a De La Soul set coming. You know, I might as well just give them my bank account, you know, routing number and everything. You just go ahead and just take it out every time you guys drop something. Just take my money. So go ahead, go to that link, check out what they have. Really helps the show, and I drive traffic to them. Shows that people are listening and they care about action figures like I do. But check out the show on Facebook and Instagram and Threads at Infinite Banter Podcast. Check out the Spotify playlist and all those things. And let's go ahead and get into it. Chill Will is here. We're going to talk about Lottie Dottie and the show and a whole lot more. But this show never begins until the one and only King from Queens, Daryl Mack, DMC. He gets on, he says this, and now the show is official.
Yo, what's up? This is me, DMC, the K-I-N-G, the greatest MC in history. And right now, you're listening to Infinite Banter, because we will banter on forever, because this is the only place for all of y'all to ever be. I be Infinite Banter.
And you know how we do on the Infinite Banter Podcast. We have a guest come on, we play a song, right? So it'll be a little bit different this time because Chill Will doesn't have any songs to promote necessarily. So I'm going to do something with a twist. There is a track from Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh Crew's album, Oh My God. There's a song in there called Chill Will Cutting It Up. It's about 30, 45 seconds long, but it's such a good record as far as like an intro to who Chill Will is. Shows you his skills, and I want to play that here. It's just like a quick intro. Then I'll give my intro. So you can hear dual intros for Chill Will. He's getting the red carpet and then a second red carpet because he deserves it. So here we go. Chill Will Cutting It Up from 1986 of the Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh Crew album, Oh My God. And on the other side of this, you hear from the man himself, the legendary maestro Chill Will, talking about Lottie Dottie and the show and a whole lot of other stuff. But here we go. Chill Will Cutting It Up here on the Infinite Banter Podcast. Let's go.
What?
The maestro himself, DJ Chill Will.
What's up, fam? This is your DJ Silver Spinner on Infinite Banter with your man, DJ Soundwave.
You're tuned into the Infinite Banter Podcast. I am DJ Soundwave, and I'm really hyped to once again be joined by a legend in the game and a member of the iconic Get Fresh crew, you know, with Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, Barry B. In 2025 marked the 40th anniversary of not just one of the greatest hip-hop singles of all time, but two of the songs that changed my life as a hip-hop fan, Lottie Dottie and The Show. Welcome back to the podcast, DJ, artist, producer, booking agent, talent coordinator for DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic, repping the Get Fresh crew, the maestro himself, DJ Chill Will. What's up, man?
What's good, man? What's good, man?
Good.
Yeah, how are you, man?
Man, I'm
how
great.
Are you?
I'm great, man. This is just such an honor, like it was
up.
years ago when you picked up the phone then, and just as geeked as I was back then.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I'm just glad. I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
You know,
man. Like I said in that intro, I mean, and I told it to you back then. Lottie Dottie like changed me, man, because I was listening to all kinds of other stuff, and when I stumbled upon it, I was just like, "What is this?" And I want more of it. You know what I mean? It's like. So I was like 10 years old when that happened. So 40 years, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I just got to ask, right off the top, 40 years, people, I'm sure you've been asked about this so many times since, last year. When you think back, 40 years makes me feel old. What are your reflections when you think back on 40 years of Lottie Dottie and the show, man? There's such monumental songs for the culture.
Well, I just, we go back, me and Doug met in high school. So, that's how far back we go with this. And, I never thought it was going to be like this. You did? Like, I was like, all right, we got a couple of months of this, and then, I got to go find a job. You know what I'm saying?
Thank God you had to fill those applications. That never happened, right?
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it was just we were young, man. 20. 19, 20 when we was doing this. So it's like we was right out of high school, basically, and it was just having fun doing what we do. Like, it was just us making something just because we wanted to do it, because we had the love for music. And, we was like, we got to make a record and blah, 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 and do this and do that. And we had to do something different, because now that it's out, now we never really talk about it before, but now that it's out and people can hear it on that, the 40th anniversary song.
Oh, right.
That was the version. That was, I don't know if you heard it, but that's the version we did first.
Oh, wow.
Which we wouldn't even be sitting here talking right now if that had came out. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't even be talking right now. I'll be at Walmart, Amazon or something right now.
You'd be a
waiting
greeter.
on my check,
That's crazy.
Right, exactly. Waiting on my check or something, But it's just, luckily we did it over, because we kind of felt like that wasn't, it wasn't hitting the way we thought it was. Because when we put the ideas together, it was just a bunch of ideas, but they were all in different places and the wrong places. Like, if you listen to it, the intro that's at the top was in the middle. Somebody else was doing it. It was just all kind of stuff. It was just, that was a mess. That song there was a complete mess, because it was just put together. It wasn't structured or nothing, So we actually found a way, we got together and really sat down and structured it and put it together properly or whatever. And then that's the way that you hear it today, when we actually sat down and did it, and said, hey, let's do this. Let's put this here. Let's put that there. Let's put the intro where intro belongs at the top, and do this and blah, blah, blah. And, and then that's the way it came together, And now what you hear today has become, a classic, it's
without a doubt.
Still going. We still eating, in 2026.
Yeah.
that was 1985.
It's crazy.
There's people probably listening to this right now, we ain't born in 85. They're like, I wasn't even born yet.
For me, when I think about it, I think of the 85 Bears and Lottie Dottie. When I think of the year of 85,
right.
Those are the first two things in my head.
We were on the road, because I was in New Orleans when that Super Bowl was there.
Oh, man, get out of here.
When they played
crazy.
the Patriots, when the Bears played the Patriots, I was there.
Oh,
that's
man.
That's how far back we go. That was a Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah, man. Some of the Bears, had some skills, right? On that record.
Right, exactly.
I think the Fridge even did a song with the Fat Boys later on, because he got so big that he was a big part of pop culture at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, man. So it is what it is, man. I'm just, we just been blessed, man, and just continue to do what we do,
Right. And the thing is, back then, it's so different than now. Back then, you guys had to perform the song before it was recorded, right? It wasn't like you were performing and you had like a hit record behind you. This is 85. Hip hop on record wasn't happening,
but
right?
We wasn't doing, we didn't do that song. We did Lottie Dottie, but we didn't do that. We didn't do the show.
Right.
Because we didn't have that together yet. But we were doing kind of like routines. Like, if you listen to hip hop tapes like back in the days, like the Cold Crush, Fearless, all the groups from back in the days, Force MCs, as we call, before they became Force MDs, Fantastic Five. Everybody had routines, and that's what we were doing on the road. Like, we would go out to different places and do routines, basically. And Lottie Dottie was kind of one of our routines, that we did. We just incorporated into the show.
Oh, I got you.
We had no intentions of making Lottie Dottie a song. That was never like in the plan to make Lottie Dottie an actual record.
Man.
That was our manager's idea.
So is that how it started to formulate into recording it? Your manager's like, or this could be a song. This could be something if we put it on wax. Was that kind of?
He said that thing y'all do on the road. He
Right.
said, the thing y'all do on the road. Y'all need to put that on record. We're like, nah, we don't put that on record. Nah, that's not like record material, because, back then, as opposed to now, that was kind of a little vulgar, for us. It's like, it's cool to do live, but on record.
Yeah.
And who gonna play that? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna play that?
Beep
All
it
that
out.
cursing and all that.
Yeah.
And, let me tell you, it was so, because it was bad because even if you listen to The Message by Melly Mel, this is, back in the day, this is, in the 80s, they beeped out pissing.
Oh,
like
that's right.
a curse.
Yeah.
They said people in the stairs, they just don't care.
Right.
Like, now, if you can't play pissing on record, you know you ain't getting away with all the stuff that we doing.
You got a different P word that you got to worry about at the end of that song.
Right.
So it's a problem.
It's crazy. Right. It's like, we got a whole, there's a whole slew of beats going to be in this,
Yeah.
So
it's not just the lyrics, right? You have to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So we did it, and and it did what it did, man. It's just like, because we performed a lot, but we never really moved outside of, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, probably as far as we went. Maybe Maryland was, we were up and down the East Coast, but and all those people had heard Lottie Dottie, and people heard it on tape, on the West Coast and all that stuff from people here going over there. So they got to hear it and stuff, and then we finally put it on record, and everybody got to hear it, Then it just became like a phenom, of some sort. Because it was different than anything you heard before. That was like nothing like you had heard before.
Man, you're not kidding. Do you remember the first time you heard it on a station, on the radio, in a car, or something like that?
Oh, I'll tell you 2 times. I heard it. I'm going to tell you the first time I actually heard it is when we first met Rick, and Rick came to my house, and we was playing on the drum machine, put a beat together, and Rick did it over the beat. And that's the first time I ever heard Lottie Dottie in my house when Rick came to do it. And we was crying like, yo, this is crazy right now. It was ridiculously funny. And, we was laughing and, whatever. And we was like, we got to start putting this in the show and stuff like that and do this. And that's when we all kind of got together and really, started doing stuff and we added that to our show, And then the first time I heard it on the radio, Lottie Dottie was one of them. So, like, I heard the show on the radio, but I didn't hear Lottie Dottie immediately. I didn't hear Lottie Dottie until it was played on HBI. That's back when like Mr. Magic and all of that was doing stuff, like back in, that's where I heard that. I didn't really hear it on mainstream radio, for a long time. We didn't hear Lottie Dottie. You heard the show all the time, but you didn't hear Lottie Dottie a lot. Then after a while, after they got we had to do it, because we never did a edited version at first. It was just the way it was. We had to go back and do it again and do an edited version, take the curses out,
Yeah, and, a lot of those guys on air, they just edit it live probably, right? They just pot it down or something, or...
yeah, exactly. So, some people edit it themselves and play it, but first time I heard it was on HBI, WHBI in New York. That was one of the stations that played like all hip hop, at night. We all tune in at night to HBI because all the hip hop DJs was on there, where they play anything. Like you hear all the hip hop records, like more than you would hear on, regular radio station,
Right.
So that's where I first heard it. And it was crazy, like, to hear that. I was like, wow, they're going to play this on the radio.
I can't believe it. Right. I always wondered, too.
Like, this is crazy right now. Oh.
Because during the hours of, like, midnight till, I think, I got to remember, I worked in radio, and there was something called Safe Harbor, where you could play anything. They could say whatever you want on a song.
Right.
I think it's like 12 to 6 in the morning. That would be the time to play it, right? I mean, but, nobody's awake.
And that's kind of what HBI was. That's what HBI kind of was. They kicked it off like maybe around 8 o'clock at night, and then you start hearing all of the Crazy Records, like around 11, 10, 11.
That's when it got live, man.
yeah, that's when it got live. That's when the people in the cars, when they waited the clubs, you know. And New York was different than a lot of other states because we didn't have to stop it too. You know, we can go like most states when you go, the whole thing is over at 2 o'clock. You know, 2 o'clock, you gotta shut it down because the bar closes. So they was like, might as well close the club at that time, you know, or whatever.
Right.
New York was different because you could serve alcohol till 6, 7 in the morning.
Right.
You know, if you want.
So we don't get started till like 3 or 4. So, you know.
Right, exactly. People ain't leaving their house till midnight. You know, people walking out the door at midnight.
Right, I'm just getting ready. What are you talking about? Let's go.
right. We're just getting dressed, and 10:30, 11 o'clock, they're just starting to get dressed. You know, so it was. Then when you get in the car, you turn on HBI, you hear all hip hop all night long. It was crazy, man. That was that was back in the day. I love them days.
Man, those are awesome. And at my age now, if you told me something's going on at midnight, I'm like, dude, I'm done. I'm sleeping before you even.
right. Oh yeah. That's doing day parties now. You're like, yo, I'm gonna do a day party from 5 to 9. You know what I'm saying?
Right before dinner. You know.
Yeah, exactly. 10 o'clock, I'm in the bed, yo.
Man, and the thing about Lottie Dottie, man, it's so bare bones. It's just beatbox and an MC, right? And there's no production really, right? Was there a point when you're putting it together where like somebody, from like the label or something's like, hey, you guys gotta have more instrumentation or some sort of production sound to it?
Nah, everybody liked it just the way that it was because it was different. It was it wasn't. Nobody tried to make it something that it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like we gave it to you as what it is, and that's pretty much what it was. We wasn't going to make it different. The first time we did it over a track, but it sounded better when Doug did it because it was a little more, improvised, and he could change the beat up a little bit and do this and do that. But, it was better that way than it was with the track.
It sounds so authentic, like to me, like the way it is. Like it's just straight hip hop,
right? We started doing it that way live. So we was like, yo, when we record it, we might as well keep it that way, because that's what people are used to.
And that's the thing, like you were talking about before, that you guys are performing it and you kind of worked out the kinks a little bit, right, when it came to putting it on record. But people heard it, at the club, right, or wherever you guys performed it before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had already heard it at the club.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like in New York, especially in New York, it was all over New York. People was recording it. It was on tapes, that's when people was running around with cassettes. You had a cassette and you put it on the cassette and you good to go. You know what I'm saying? But the thing was, once we started doing it like that with the beatbox and all that, and we just left it that way. That's the way it should be. It sounded way better that way.
Man. And I remember when I used to get like those like compilation cassettes, and it would have like, Lottie Dottie and, like a Run DMC song or a Fat Boy song on there. And sometimes it would have the part where Slick Rick is doing the Beatles part. And then sometimes it wouldn't have it, depending on which version I bought. That was always weird to me. Do you know the story behind that?
We had to take that out.
Right.
Because they, how you can pay for us, to use a license and do that and all that. But they wouldn't give us the license for that. Like, there was no amount of money we could pay for that. They were like, no, just remove it from the song. Like, we just didn't want it in the song. I think because of the content of the song, they didn't want to be like associated with that.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So I think that they were just like, remove it. No, we don't want no money. Just take it off. So we had to go back in and edit it and take that part out.
So for those of you who have that version, hang on to it.
Yeah, so whoever had the early, if you got the early versions of the show, you have that in there.
Man, yeah, that's such a classic record.
We do it live. We do that.
You got
we keep that in there.
Definitely, definitely. And that's kind of weird because it's not like it's a sample. It's just you guys are doing your own rendition of it. But I guess that still counts, right? It's still like enough bars of the song. So
right. Man, because Lottie Dottie is a lot longer than that. When we stopped it on the record, there's a whole nother part to it.
Yeah.
That we never put that part out. We just took that out completely.
Was there ever any thoughts of putting cuts on Lottie Dottie? Were you and Barry B like, we got to get in on here somehow, or you guys like, nah, leave it like it is?
Just leave it like it is. It's organic this way, you know. You start adding cuts and all that. Then, you know, the next thing you know, you got a drum beat under it, and then the next thing you know, it's a whole song with music and everything. You know, just leave it like this. Just leave it plain. It's 2 tracks. It's Doug, and then there's Rick.
There you go. 2 tracks, and it's 2 guys. There's no instruments, nothing.
Right, just 2 people, 2 tracks. Let's just do it. And the version you hear on record was done straight through.
Oh, one take? All like
just the way it is.
Oh, man.
Yep, just the way it is. Mm-hmm.
That's just amazing because both of those guys have to be on point with every part of it from start to finish.
Right. So we've gone back and enhanced little pieces of it, like, put pieces in and beefed up a little bit. But what you hear beatbox and vocally is one take.
That's incredible.
You know, we had done this song literally 100,000 times, you know what I'm saying? So to go in and do it, and we didn't have the enthusiasm, doing it, even though it came out, you know, you're going to put everything you got into it. But, you know, we wasn't really trying to put this song out. It really is like, we're going to do that.
It was a routine, right? It wasn't a song.
But we said, you know what, let's record it. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what it sounds like. Let's just record it. And then that's what we did.
Man.
You know, we practiced it, ran through it once or twice, and got the mics right, and, you know, EQ'd and all that, you know, make it sound good while you're doing it. And we was like, okay, let's do it, and then ran through it.
Well, you're blowing my mind right now because, you know, this song to me is like the genesis of so much of, like, you know, my introduction to the music, and you're just like, yeah, just something we kind of threw together as a routine, you know, like, man, here we are 40 years later. And it's, you know, easily one of the greatest songs ever made. So, big salute.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You know, that was a game changer. You know, that changed the whole. Now you heard a whole bunch of songs coming out like that. And
yeah, like Latoya,
like Rick and all kinds
Just
of
Ice.
stuff. Yeah.
I remember that one. There's a few are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah. You know, so it changed. It changed everything.
And another thing about La Di Dottie is, I mean, and to this day, I hear it in songs all the time. It's got to be one of the most sampled songs of all time, if not, you know, one of the top 2 or 3.
It's the most sampled rap song of all time.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
It's the most sampled hip hop song of all time.
Which helps that there's no real production because it's easy to sample it because it's just kind of like a vocal anyway, right? You always want to, if you're going to sample
right. And then you use it because, you know, people know that. People's ears were tuned to that because they know the song. So if you just hit it, they know where all that comes from. You know, what's their name? Color Me Bad to the, you know, TikTok, you know,
man.
Stop. You know.
Yeah, I just heard, you know, this past year, De La Soul's new album, the song "Sunny Storms," they sample, and that's true.
Right,
they sample it.
Exactly.
You know, that's the most recent example I could think of.
We could do that. We could do this all day.
Oh my God,
we could go back to back with songs all day with La Di Dottie in it.
Man, it's be the longest episode ever if we do that. We'll be going back and forth all day.
Exactly.
Man. Speaking of sampling, I mean, so when Montel Jordan came out in the 90s with the This Is How We Do It,
right,
which is basically, you know, like children's story, you know, did you
right.
guys, you know, did he come to you guys and talk about it? Did you guys just kind of hear it like, oh man, this is pretty cool he's doing it? It's like, how does that work for you guys in that regard?
It was just, like the basis of most people, they do the song and then just get clearance for it. And that's basically it, you know, same way we do, like when we use something, we just do it and then we go get the clearance for it.
Oh, okay. So it's like the same thing.
Yeah, and you just pay, for the clearance to use it or whatever and keep moving forward. It's not like back, when we first started, we didn't get nothing cleared. We was just sampling whatever we wanted.
Right. It's like it was a whole different time.
Whatever we want.
Man.
And you just keep going. But I think the first case of somebody suing over a sample was Biz. Biz was like the first artist that got sued, for using a sample. And that's where it all changed.
Man, yeah. After that, it was production had to be really, really different to do things in a way and chop it up to where it's such a small amount, right? To where it's not that recognizable.
Yeah, but after that, they even changed that where you can't even do that no more. You can't use any parts of it, that's recognizable.
I miss those days.
So any little piece that you use, like if you use hip and it's from that song, you got to pay for that.
Right. See, there it is. And all these platforms now, and they've got the, the ways of checking things out, with differently than just a human person hearing it and saying like, hey, I heard something on a record.
Right. Exactly. And people just think that, it's going to slip by, but sometimes you don't get caught immediately. You be like, okay, yeah, so I've been out 6 months. Nobody said nothing, but then it comes back to haunt you.
So back to Lottie Dottie, like talk about performing it before the record and then after the record. What was it like once the record came out and then you guys performed? It was like another level of just people getting into it. And
yeah, because now the masses know the record. You know what I'm saying? Before when we were doing it, people were kind of surprised because it was like, nobody knew what it was going to be or what it actually was. So they're just vibing with it. Yo, it's funny, is this and that. But now you didn't heard it, So now it's like a hit record. So it's basically the difference in doing, a hit and just doing a record that you just, made. Like, nobody really knows it yet. After that.
Yeah, after that, it's a game changer, man. I mean.
Yeah, everything just changed after that, After it came out, there was a whole different vibe.
In 2023, I went to the LL Cool J Force Tour, and Doug and Rick were on that tour, and they came to Chicago. And I remember when they did Lottie Dottie, I'm guessing Rick did maybe 20% because the crowd is doing it. Like, he doesn't have to do anything. He can literally just hold the mic out and just go ahead, you guys do it.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's the way it is. There's a lot of records that's like that. It's another record that's strong like that, like Top Billin' with Milk and Selling, all that. When he does that song, he basically can go, MC, and stop right there, and then let the crowd just go ahead from there and just take that whole song on and just do it,
Just grab some popcorn and kick your feet up. they got this.
Right, exactly. And just let him go, y'all go ahead, y'all take it from here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave the stage. I'm gonna just let y'all continue on.
I think I've seen Rakim do that crazy, a couple times too. A couple times when I've seen Rakim, like, he'll do a song and it'll be like, "You guys go ahead and do some of these lyrics because you guys all know them as well as I do. So go ahead."
Right. Y'all just go ahead and complete the song and just finish singing it or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, and as a fan, it's just a participation of it. And that's Lottie Dottie's a total, call and response type record where people just kind of get into it just as much as the artists do. And I'm sure you see that when you're behind the tables, man. You just see how people are vibing to it. I'm sure to this day, when that song comes on, people are going to go nuts.
Right. Yeah, it's still, it still rocks to this day when we do it. The whole, same thing. We start at the beginning and then the crowd just takes over,
And they'll do the singing part. Yeah. You don't have to worry about, any copyright stuff. They'll do it.
It's crazy, man. I'm just glad, that, people still enjoy it, till this day because, it's 40 years ago,
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe I look back and it's like, man, I'm getting old or I'm just able to live long enough to appreciate it. I want to look at it that way as opposed to feel like I'm getting old. So, man.
Right.
Such a great record, man. I have that original, that blue sleeve copy. Oh, man. I remember when I first started buying records, it was like one of the most expensive records I bought. But I was like, I need to have this. I have to have it. I can't do it. I can't have tables and not have this record. It's incomplete, man.
Right.
And now I got to talk about the B-side, the show. So like Lottie Dottie is stripped down, right? Not a lot of production or anything. The show is like everything but the kitchen sink. You got the Inspector Gadget in there. You guys are cutting it up on the song. You got the intro. Man, talk about the show because that's like a whole other song. Really, it's like it's so different from Lottie Dottie, but it's a great classic as well.
Well, the show was the song we actually did for the record. That was the song. That was the song we was making. Like I said, Lottie Dottie was kind of an afterthought. The show was actually the song we were doing.
Right.
We went in to do and put that together, and that's when, that was like the third version of the song. Like the one you hear today is like, we ran through several versions of it, and that's the one that stuck, but that, that we tried that song so many different ways to make it work. And, finally we found one that worked,
It took a while for you guys to get to that point where it turned into what we all know it as.
Yeah, because we had to keep restructuring it and doing something different because we were like, the machine that we were using was an 808 when we first started the beat, but it didn't have the kick that we did. Sometimes you hear something in your head and it don't sound like that. It sounds like that in theory, but in real life, it don't sound like that. This is not what I hear.
Right.
When I hear this, and Doug's doing the beatbox of the beat going boom, 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 and it's just what he wanted to sound like, but it wasn't sounding like that. It wasn't coming across like, like that. It's like, that don't sound like it. That don't got the same, it don't got the same feel.
Right. Something's missing.
And then finally, we tried it a couple of different ways and we finally got it to fit the way that it should. you know, and then everybody, we were all good with it, you know, kind of was like, yeah, okay, yeah, this is now this is what, me and Doug went to a club, it's called B&B, right? This is in New York back before the show came out, but it was, Doug used to take the beat and put them on tape for the whole side of the tape, like a 60-minute tape, you know, one side's 30, the other side's 30. Doug would play the beat for 30 minutes
Wow.
on one whole side of the tape. And we went and gave it to the DJ and asked him, could he play it? And he played that beat and he never took it off. He let it play for 30 minutes.
That's crazy.
That's how we knew. We were like, yo, this is the one. This is the beat right here. This is going to be crazy. Man. And he let the whole thing just play. We sat in there and listened to that just the beat. Ain't no words or nothing on it.
Right.
Just the beat, 30 minutes.
Jeez,
you
man.
know?
That's I mean, how much work it took to do that, to put that together, right? And
right. Uh-huh.
And on a tape.
And then we finally went in the studio and laid it down and, you know, and did it right this time, you know.
Man, so much going on in that song. Talk about the intro. I mean, was it cool to be able to do that part on your end?
The intro with me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, that was Doug's idea. Doug's like, yo, you should do that. Because we had another guy doing it. He said, yo, you should do the intro.
There you go.
I was like, me? And he said, yeah, you got the voice for this. He said, you should do the intro. He said, just try it. If it don't work, it don't work. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, I'll try it. You know, the first 2 times I did it, you know, I'm doing it a little nervous. You know, I'm like, I don't like the way I sound.
Nobody likes their voice, Will. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know, I was like, I don't like the sound, you know, whatever. But, you know, they were like, all right, we're going to do it again and try it, you know, whatever. Then I actually went in and I said, you know what? You close my eyes and just go ahead and knock it out. And I went in and it said, I was like, and I just got into it that time. It was like, that's it. That's the one. That's it. That's the intro right there.
There you go, man.
And that's what we end up keeping. I did it twice because if you hear, I'll tell you this little piece. If you listen to it, right, I messed up the words in one.
Oh.
And I said the wrong word. But we kept them both. I said, ladies and gentlemen, most exciting stage show you ever seen. And the other one I say witness. They left witness and scene in there.
Oh, I got to go play it again and hear because I never caught that.
When you listen to it, you'll hear it because I say witness and I say scene in the same place.
Oh, man.
You know?
You hear it like differently than everybody else has ever heard that record, right? Because you know.
Right. Like when you listen to it, so y'all listening out there, when you go back and listen to the beginning of the show, it's probably something you never really noticed either, you know? But at the beginning of the show, I say scene. And then when I did it again, I said witness. And then they left both of them in there, left witness and scene in there.
Oh, that's crazy. That's awesome.
So it say the most exciting stage show you ever seen, witness. You know, you hear both of them in there at the same time. You know?
Oh man! Now, when you heard it played back, were you like, "Hey, you guys left it in there," or were you just like, "You know what? I'm not even gonna say it again"?
Yeah, you left it in. They was like, "Nah, that's good. That's how I leave it. Leave it like that. Oh, that's cool." And blah blah. There's a couple of pieces in there. When you listen to the scratches in the middle of the scratches that's going on in the middle, I did a set of scratches, and then Barry did a set of scratches, and we were like, "Well, we'll just pick from which one." But we end up using both of them. So now we're both scratching at the same time.
That's crazy.
But not together. We didn't do it at the same time. We just did it at separate times. It just happened to fit. Like, you know, like it just was kind of organic. Like it just fit that way. And we just left both of them in there. So that's both of us at the same time.
That's nuts. I'm going to hear this song again, and it's going to be a whole different experience for me because I know all these behind the scenes, behind the curtain that Will's giving you guys right here.
Right. Oh,
man, now you know how the sauce is made. Like when it's being done like that too. Like how much input do you and Barry have on that? Is that being layered together with you guys in the studio, or are you guys coming back? You're like, oh, I hear what you guys did. It's cool. Like how did that work out? As far as do you remember that aspect of it?
Of how we did the scratches?
Or I mean, like when they put it together, did you hear the final piece and you came in and heard it, or were you part of the process?
Oh, no, I was there. When
you were there the whole thing?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I was there for the whole thing. All of us were there the whole time. There was never like a time where somebody was there and somebody else wasn't there. We were all four of us was always there at every single session.
Man, it's so different now. You know how it is. Like people are not in studios anymore. Everybody's doing stuff from home and sending files. So.
It was different then. We were in the studio. All four of us were in the studio every single time.
That's great, man.
You know, all the way through, all the way from the inception of it to the mix down. Everybody wanted to have input.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because you guys are all part of it, and for 4 people to be involved, you've got to all be there. You didn't want to be the one person who went home early. It's like,
yeah, and you come back, you'd be like, what happened? What happened to that part? It's like, because everybody has, everybody has to contribute something to it. So you say, hey, what about this? Or try this, or do this and do that, and that's what made the song what it is. Because sometimes we always say, you never know what something's going to be if that piece didn't exist. So you could say, like, you're doing something, I'm doing something, we got 8 other people doing something. But if you took one of those pieces out, this could be a totally different song.
Right.
And it may not be the biggest piece, but it makes a difference in what it is, so it made the whole pie. You know what I'm saying? It's like an ingredients in something that you make. You leave out the salt. You be like, it don't taste the same. But I put 15 other ingredients in here, and you're missing the salt. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
it's that one thing that made it different. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that was. Like, there was little pieces. Everybody contributed to the, hey, let's try this there, or make this a little heavier, make this drum sound like this, put an echo on this, put all the little pieces, and it all comes together to this is what it is when you put it together.
And that's how you get songs like these that people are bugging you about 40 years later, Will. That's how it happens.
Right. People don't got the patience to go in the studio like that. I mean, it took us about a couple of months to make that song. People doing songs in a day now. You're doing 3-4 songs a day.
You probably could do one as soon as you hang up here and put one out, with your laptop,
exactly.
Right?
You could do a song at 8 o'clock tonight and be done by 10. And it could be out on YouTube and, Track Source and, all that, whatever, right. by now.
The only difference is nobody's talking about it 40 years later like these two. That's what I would say. It's like these songs are.
Yeah, that's the downside to me today to music. You don't get songs that last like that no more. Because I don't think you have the element that we had then, like with radio and all of that stuff where, nobody listens to radio. People listen to their own playlist, so that you skip over a lot of stuff. You miss a lot of stuff when you just listening to what you want to hear. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
But, when the new stuff comes out, you don't hear it unless somebody plays it for you. You know what I'm saying? You used to just hear it on the radio all day. You hear a new song, you hear this, you hear it. Now you make your own playlist. You'd be like, I'm just overriding listen to the radio when something new comes out. I don't care. Or you hear it because it became mainstream from something that happened with it. And now you know the song. Somebody put a dance to it. Somebody did this to it. Somebody did that. And that's how you hear it. Right. People getting their music list from YouTube and TikTok.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You finding the new songs on TikTok. But that's just where it is now. And it's got, you have to accept that that's what it is today. It's not, you ain't going to be turning the dials on the radio no more.
Man, what's a dial? The kids don't even. If you start to tell a young person what a dial is, like, what are you talking about? Like,
right, exactly. You're like, turn the dial, turn it to another station. Nobody don't do that no more.
Right.
You don't get that, and but even radio to me is not what it used to be, because they used to break records, do this and that. You can't do all that no more because they're getting broke on their own now.
Right. Yeah, and it's not on radio. It's somewhere else that's getting broke, right? It's not even
somewhere else. People going somewhere else for it, and people are listening to it in a different place, in a different space, and you can listen to it when you want. And that's the factor that has changed everything, because everything is at your fingertips now. Before, when you wanted to hear a song, you had to wait till the radio played it.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? You could be listening to radio all day. I remember I used to sit in front of the radio to listen to a song and catch it, and ready to press record as soon as it comes on. You're recording off the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the only way you get to keep it. But some days I would just put a cassette in and just let it run. You know what I'm saying? Just let the whole thing run for 90 minutes or whatever, so that I can get the song I'm looking for. Hopefully they will play it by then, but then they wouldn't. So then what I would do is turn the tape over, put it on the other side, let it record some more, and just keep recording the whole day until I hear the song. So if I didn't hear it again, the same side I recorded on the other side, I go back to that side and just record over all the stuff I wanted to until I heard the song. I went, there it is.
Yeah,
now I got it. Then I can stop recording, and then I can listen to it whenever I want.
Taking me back, Will, because I used to do
today,
that.
Yeah. But today, you can just go somewhere and pick a song and listen to it. You can Pandora, you can go to YouTube, you can go to whatever.
Right.
You know, you can go anywhere and pick a song today, you know,
Man,
and find it and play it.
You just give me memories, man, because I used to listen to, like, here in Chicago, like the stations that would play hip-hop music. I couldn't stay up late enough. I'd fall asleep. So I would just hit record and, you know, have my extra long cassette, you know, the Max Cell with, you know, the 45 minutes on the side or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And just let it record, and then I'll pass out, and maybe I'll set an alarm to wake up to flip it and then press record again.
Right. And you gotta sit there and listen to the whole thing, see what was played, and you know all that. You know, so it's like it's crazy. So that's when you didn't have no control. You know, now you got all the control or whatever, so you don't get to hear, like, you know. And like the point I was making is that when I listen to those songs on the radio, I got to listen to stuff I'd never heard before, which be like, oh, I never heard it. What song did this? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I think the first time I heard Set It Off I wasn't looking for Set It Off, but I heard it. I was like, this is hot. This song is hot. But I would have never heard it had I not been listening to the radio and listened to everything else that they play. You know what I'm saying? Because there was nowhere for us to go and just pick a song, you know. But that's how you hear new music. You know what I'm saying? You got to listen to the radio all day long, you know, and you'll get a new song that you never heard before. And you put together a playlist, and you just listen to your playlist all day.
And just let it run.
You know? You just let your own playlist run, because now you can pick the song that you want to hear. You know, you put it in your iPhone, you know, and whatever, and put it in the way that you want to hear it, in the order you want to hear it. But that's you all day. You know, people get in their car and they don't turn on the radio. They turn on the internet radio or their phone, or they got their phone connected or something. You know, nobody's turning the radio on. They ain't turning the dial.
No, you're not discovering anything that way. You're just like going to what you like and you stay in there.
Them days is over.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
The only way
days are over.
The only way I can get a song on that I wanted to hear is you have to call and request it. Like, hey, can you play the show?
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Can you play? Yeah, I'm gonna give that right out to you. And it still ain't instant. You still got to wait 3 or 4 songs to get your song played or whatever. You know?
Oh man.
Or whatever. So it's still not immediate. Mm-hmm.
If they even played it, sometimes I'd be listening and like, come on, man, you said you were gonna play it. You're off in 10 minutes. Damn it.
Right.
Let's go.
Exactly.
When are you going to play it?
And people ain't got the patience for that today. You know, they got the patience for no request. You got to wait for it.
Man, they have no
idea. That's not going to happen.
Nah, man. Young kids, get off my lawn, you know.
Right.
You don't
Exactly.
You don't know how good you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with TV.
Right.
That's a whole other thing, too. You have to wait for that show to come on. If you're not in front of that TV, you're done. You're screwed. You can't watch it.
Yep. Or, now you can sit and wait and binge watch everything, you know, the whole season. You know, you can sit and watch the whole thing all at one time.
Right.
You know?
I can't do that.
Before, you had to wait week after week after week after week, you know, and whatever. But now people just sit and binge watch the whole thing. They just wait till the season's over and then watch the whole thing.
I'm trained to have to wait. I can't do it. I can't do the binge thing. I don't like doing it that way, man.
Right.
Yeah, I'm old school. Let me wait a week.
Right, you wait a week for the next episode to come on. You know,
right. Of course,
but
the problem is it gets spoiled. Yeah, someone will ruin it for you because they'll talk about it online or something, and you'll see like, oh man, he died. I didn't watch that episode yet. Why?
Yeah, they done told you the whole thing, so now you know what's gonna happen. You know,
man,
you be like, and you didn't even see the first episode yet. Now you know how it ends. You know?
Yeah, I didn't want to watch it anymore. Like, forget it.
Right. You be like, oh man.
Man. I wanted to ask you, you talk about the early days when you guys were performing. Who were some of the other hip-hop acts that you guys were on stage with in those early days, 85, 86? Do you remember some of the other artists you guys were on stage with?
Well, yeah. I mean, we still see them all today. You know, I remember when LL was an opening act on a tour we was on. Him and Public Enemy were the opening acts.
Man.
You know, on a tour we was on. I mean, you know, you got Houdini, you had L, you had Public Enemy, you had Ice-T, you had Kool Moe Dee, you had Eric B. and Rakim, you had there's a whole bunch of people on at that time. We all, you know, everybody was running around doing their thing. That's the golden days of hip hop, you know.
Man.
When it was just crazy. Salt and Pepper, You know, it was beautiful back then. You know, so it was fun. We used to have competitions on the road. You know, we used to have a blackboard that we used to say, who won tonight, like show wise.
Oh, really?
You know,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah, it was fun, man. You know, we used to have, you know, we had a good time then. That's when it was fun. You know, everybody's buses. We all get on the buses traveling together. We all pull into the city together. You know, it was fun. You know, we had a great time.
Yeah, and just the idea, you know, going back to Lottie Dottie and even the show, it's just you guys are doing these routines on a stage and doing it in front of an audience, and then next thing you know, it's on a record, playing on a radio, and then you guys are performing it to a whole crowd of people who now know the song, and you're on stage with, you know, the golden era artists that, you know, most of us just cherish to this day, man. And yeah, man, it's just a thrill to hear you talk about just a little bit of an eye opener to that era, man, because it was such a fun time, man. I'm so glad that I'm of my age that I grew up with this stuff, man.
It was fun, man, and you know, we all had a good time, and that's when, you know, people were still making like videos and all this other stuff, and you know, it was just like a whole different it was a different feel than, you know, like it wasn't really about the money and all that stuff, you know, and this and that. It was just about the fun and the love, and you know, and then we just was, you know, because a lot of the early people did this just for the love, not even for money. When we started, there was no money. You know what I'm saying? When we started doing it, there was no money to really be made from this. You know, me and Doug used to go and do parties and stuff like that for $50.
And that was like a good payday, right? I mean, I guess, right? In a sense.
Yeah, but even if they didn't do it, even if they didn't pay the $50, we were still going to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it really wasn't about the money. The money was just gravy to the situation being what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your passion. This is what you enjoy doing. You're having a great time doing it, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? So when you do it, and people like that energy, you giving back that energy, that same energy that you get on stage, and you giving it out, and they giving it back, and it's just a whole room full of energy. That's crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the best feeling in the world, because we ain't here for that. We ain't really here for the payday. I'm here because I want to be here. You know what I'm saying? So it don't really got nothing to do with the money. Now, the money only helps because you pay your bills, you can live, you can eat, you can feed your family. You do that because you had to do that. You know, but back then, we was living with our moms, so the money didn't matter.
Right.
You know? So yeah, I go to I'm at my mother's house, you know, so I ain't worry about that. And we just do it for the love, you know. You just do it. We go to all these parties and get on. Even that Lottie Dottie that's on the 40th anniversary, that's us doing that for free. That ain't no money in that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's crazy. So you come home, your mom's like, I know you got a hit record, but garbage, you know. Clean up your room.
Exactly. So like, yeah, okay, whatever. Well, you ain't going outside until you.
Right.
You got to be kidding me, you know. Like, you're in my house.
Yeah. It's so crazy to think about. Like, I mean, you know, for me as an outsider, just like, oh, these guys must be like living it up. You got a record out and everything, performing on stage.
Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning.
Right.
We still, you know, on our parents' roof.
Man. But eventually, it did get to a point where it did have more of the money was a bigger aspect of it, I guess, right? And, you know, everybody was different, right? When the money comes around, you know, do you keep doing the same kind of version of the music you've been doing? Or do you branch out to try to reach more ears? Like, that's where things kind of get, you know, the commercial aspect of it, right? And how far you take it and how far can it go.
I think what changes it is that a lot of people start doing it for the money. You know, it's no longer for the love.
Right.
It's for the money. Like, if there ain't no money, I'm not doing it, you know, and that's where it all changes, you know, because there was a time. But I get it. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know, like, you got to have money to survive, because basically this is all you doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When these shows are over, you don't go to work. You don't go to a job, you know, during the week, and then, you know, do performances at night and stuff like that, you know. And if you're not set up properly, you know, you ain't dependent on, you know, your medical benefits and your 401k and all the other stuff that comes along with it. And you ain't got sick days. You ain't got, what's it, FMLA or whatever. You ain't, you don't have any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't just take a day off, and it don't work like that. You know, this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make sure that you know, we're all grown now. The difference back then and now is that we're grown and we have our own families. You know, people got kids, people got their own houses, their own cars, their own bills. You know, I had no bills living with my mother. You know, I'm basically, you know, I ain't even had no. And then, you know, not for nothing, is just to keep it 100% with you. You know, I was very selfish. You know, I'm making money doing all this stuff. I ain't bringing nothing into the house. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying cars, clothes.
Oh, the Audi, right? Yeah. You had to go get the Audi.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing that, you know, and I get a little piece of money. I'm putting rims on there. I'm putting a system in it. I'm going, this is what I'm doing with my money. You know what I'm saying? But it's parked right outside my mother's house.
Right. There it is. Right. She's like, well, you can park the thing out there, but these dishes.
Right, exactly. You know, so it's crazy because that's just the way, you know, that's just the way it was, you know, back then. But after a while, you got to grow up in this, and then now the money becomes a little more of an importance, but it's not the reason. You know what I'm saying?
That's
it's important to you because you gotta eat, but it ain't the reason I'm here. The money is not bringing me here. It's the love for doing what I do, but the money helps me sustain myself so that I can be here. You know what I'm saying? Because I might not be able to be here if I didn't have the money. I'd be like, I can't make it because I got work.
Right. Yeah, I can only do this for a couple of years, and then, you know, sooner or later, this isn't going to work out, right? And you got to find another way.
Right.
Yeah. It's taking up too much time.
You got to figure it out. You be like, I got to go to work. I can't be out here with y'all partying on these nights. I got to go to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. Or if I do it, I could do it, but we got to do it early because, you know, I got to go to sleep. I got to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, or whatever, and go to work.
There it is.
Because you got to, no matter what you do, you have to make money, you know, as an adult. You know, we were teenagers and, you know, the early time, you know, if you didn't have the money, there was still somebody to take care of. You know what I'm saying? You were still going to eat. You still had a roof over your head. You still had all that, you know, but now those responsibilities are yours, you know?
Right.
So that's what the money is about. The money is about sustaining yourself and doing, but it ain't got nothing to do with your love and your passion for what you do, for the money. And it ain't got nothing, this ain't for the money. This is because I love doing what I do, you know? Like I play on, I just got into house music during the pandemic. So I play on Twitch Tuesdays at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I play Tuesday at 6 o'clock on Twitch, and I do house music, and people be like, yo, you look like you are enjoying yourself.
Oh, man. I need to check you out on there. Okay.
Yeah. You gotta check me out on there. Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Come on Twitch, man. DJ Chill Will.
Okay.
You come on there, and, it's a party in there. We party in there, you know, on Tuesdays. And I only play an hour. I'm not taking up all your time. I'm not trying to be like, we'll be here all night. We'll be here from 6 to 12 o'clock at night, you know. I'm not doing that. I'm doing 6 to 7. That's it.
That's it. And I got somewhere to be.
You got an hour. Yeah, 6 to 7. But I'm saying to myself, it's because today's, you know, the attention span of people it's not that long today. Not like, you know, I was talking about this the other day. I mean, a friend of mine, when Barry White and Isaac Hayes was making songs, they did albums that only had 4 songs on them because the songs are 17, 18 minutes long.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's 2 songs on each side. You know what I'm saying? That's an album. That's not no album. You know, you get an album, you want 13 cuts.
Yeah.
So they got albums with 4 songs on it. You know, that's a 12-inch.
That's crazy.
But they was selling it as an album. You know, because people's attention span would live with that. You can sit and listen to Barry. Isaac Hayes, Walk On By, he don't even sing for 3-4 minutes into the song.
It's a lot of...
The song is 4 minutes long before he even starts singing.
Man, you're not even kidding.
You know? Yeah, he don't even start singing until 4 minutes into the song. But that was back in the days when you can do that. You can get away with that. You can't get away with that now. You try to put a song on it and wait 4 minutes start to come into the song. They will turn that song off. They will take it off. It will not be, you know, it's not, the attention span is not that today. You know, people don't have that in them today. I play for an hour. I'm not trying to keep you all night. You know what I'm saying? I just, I got an hour, and it's going to be the most energetic, powerful hour, you know, you ever seen on here. You know, because that's what I'm here for. I'm about to put on a show, and then the hour I'm out of here. You know, I'm out the way. You can go on about your business after that. You know, so
that's how it should be, right?
You know, you get some people. Yeah, they'd be on, 9 hours. I can't play that long. That's crazy. But
you need some good shoes.
Yeah,
you need some hurts.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying you come, you enjoy yourself. You have some fun. You listen to some good music. It's in it, and then my chat is always energetic. People are always talking. There's always a whole lot going on. So it's a whole big production going on in there, man. So yeah, you got to come in one day, man. Let me know you in there. So definitely shout you out, And but I'm playing house, and I just got in the house, Like I wasn't really a house music person until the pandemic because I hooked up with some people that did house. And house is a lot deeper than I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always very surfacey with house music, with just what I heard on the radio, and that's all I knew. But there was so much more. There's so much more to house, man. There's so many reworks and deep house and Afro beats, and it's like a whole slew of stuff, to get into. But the reworks are my thing. I love reworks, because songs I already know, but they got house beats under them.
Right. Yeah. And I'm in Chicago, so house is like, that's our music here. Right. And you would hear those. Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of the popular records too that would come out, maybe 15, 20, 30 years ago, they would have like a version on the record that was like a house mix, something to play in the club.
Exactly. Yeah. And now people are remixing now, like today, like the songs are coming. I got a version of Roughneck by Light, a house music version.
Oh, really?
That my friend of mine named Big C, he did a Roughneck, a house version of Roughneck. He did a house version of Keep Rising to the Top.
Oh, man.
So it's like they flipping these songs and making them into something. You know what I'm saying? Like in the house version, but the house is just so much deeper than I had ever thought about. I knew CeCe Peniston and Crystal Waters.
Oh, there you go.
And Elias and Follow Me and all. I knew all of that.
Right.
And hot music. That was it. That was the extent of my house, whole thing, man. 10 City. I could get that all day. D-Train. So yeah, that's all I really knew. Man, there's so much more to that. Then when I came to Chicago, we did a show there. Terry Hunter was there, and I was like, "Yo, man, I've been trying to I came here early just to meet you." He said, "You came to meet me."
He's like, he was crazy. He's like, "What's this?" Yeah.
He said, "Yo, I'm here to meet you." It was crazy because I was just like, I never knew all of this stuff had existed. And now these people are like, they legends in this thing. And I got so much respect for them and what they do, and listening to, because it's a whole different genre to me that I never really got into. So it's fresh to me.
Right.
It's new to me,
Man.
So it's like, I ain't never heard half this stuff before.
It's crazy.
And the energy is so ridiculous, it's just crazy. So that's my whole thing with that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what made me get to that point. Like, I don't know how I got here on that subject.
But hey man, however you got there is how you got there. But if people need to listen, check out Twitch and they'll see you, playing, Percolator or something, right? We might hear you playing those joints.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I knew Percolator. I knew all of that stuff, but there's so much more to it, man, than
it's
that.
Deeper.
And it was just, I was like, wow, this is how there's so many artists I never even heard of that are big. I never knew who Barbara Tucker was, until I started getting into this stuff, and Lady Alma and all these people. I never knew who these people were. And Follow Me is a song that I knew, like in house, but I never knew who made it. And it was like Elias. I was like, who the hell is Elias? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the song to death. I can sing every single word to the song, but I never knew who made it,
See?
So it's just all of that, that's a whole different, that's just me expanding, out into doing something else and doing something different and just having some fun with it, because I never really played house before. I've always been hip hop and R&B and all that kind of stuff. And now this is a whole different feel, a whole different place for
me. And
so,
now,
you got to come check me out, man.
Just say less, man. I'm there, and to hear that you've got something in your arsenal now.
I won't be on this Tuesday, but I'll be on next Tuesday.
Got it.
I'll be in New York all week. So
there you go.
When I get back, I'll be back on there next Tuesday.
That's what's
6
going
o'clock.
on, man. Twitch. I don't even have the app, so I'm gonna be brand new to this thing. You'll be the only reason why I'm even on it.
You gotta come on there, man. Everybody, Red Alert's on there, Metal Stars on there, Flash is on there.
All the legends. Oh man.
Jazzy Jeff is on there. All the DJs are on there, man.
Okay.
It's a whole thing going on Twitch. Maceo from De La Soul,
right?
He's on there. Man, everybody's on there, man. Even Easy Mo B is on there that produced.
He's done a lot of stuff, Tupac stuff, and
did all
Biggie.
that stuff. He's on there.
Right.
He DJs on there. Yeah, Biggie, all that. He's on there. There's so many people on there, man, because Twitch is like it's like the new radio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like the new radio where you could actually see the person, see the DJ, and you could interact with the people that are on it. It would be like if you were in your car listening to radio and you can hear all the people that are listening. Like you can see who's listening.
Oh, that's
and
crazy.
Y'all talking to each other. Y'all kind of talking to each other about the song that's on. You may be like, oh, that's a hot joint. Oh, what song is that? You know how many songs I done had to be like, yo, you got to tell me the name of that song because they playing it and they'd be like, yo, this is so-and-so, so it's by so-and-so. And, they tell you the name of the song right then and there.
It's more interactive that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's interactive with the people, with the DJ, with all that. People shout you out. People give you biddies. There's biddies and subscriptions and all that. Okay. Man, it's a whole world going on in there, man. I'm telling you.
All right. So I'm writing it down here because, I'm getting old, Will, and I'll probably forget. He said there's some Tuesday I got to check out.
Exactly. Tuesday, 6 o'clock.
There
DJ
it is.
Chill Will.
There it is.
You got to come through, man. And it's we do this thing called House Gumbo, where I'm not a house DJ, so I don't play like a typical house DJ. I play house in a hip hop kind of way.
Oh, I got you. Right. I mean, there's a lot of parallels there too, because you remember back in the day, like Latifah or Jungle Brothers would have a house record. Everybody had like one house song on their album, right? Yeah. So
right. Yeah, exactly. Even we did a house song. We got a house song called Summertime. It was done by Todd Terry.
Oh, that's right.
Who's a house DJ.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. So we did a house song. So everybody, and what's crazy is like that song, like in the video and everything we did it. Puffy's in that video.
Oh, man.
Jennifer Lopez is in that video.
Oh,
that's where they met.
That's where they met. Oh man.
That's where they met.
There's some stories there.
That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother interview.
Oh my God, man. Man. I wanted to ask you before I let you go, man. The cover for Oh My God, Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew. You guys are
right.
The Bally's and the Fila and the gold chains and everything. I don't know, man. Were you guys like the first to do that? I know Paid in Full is when I think of automatically when I think of gold, wearing necklaces and things. But for Rakim and Eric B, but
I don't know if we were the first, but I mean, I'm trying to remember who I've seen before that. I don't know. Maybe it might have been somebody before us, but that would have to be kind of research because I don't know. I can't even say for sure if we were, because we talk about things that happened before. Because me and Barry are the first two DJs to DJ together.
It's
like
crazy.
There's always been groups with two DJs, but not together. Like somebody would get on, that person get off, another person get on. But we the first two DJs to have two sets on at the same time.
That's nuts, man. The idea of that, I remember we talked about that before, and how you guys were able to put that into the live shows and on record is just, it blows my mind, man.
Right. So we can just keep things going. It's like we don't really have any limitations. You'd be like, I can't do that because I can't get the record off and on fast enough. But we got somebody else to do it. So we'll do this and we just keep it going. We just keep rolling.
Yeah, and it's so crazy now because obviously, DJing has changed so much since back then, where obviously, you could just pull records off the internet, MP3s, things like that, and it's a lot easier to do a show.
Got a computer now, Serato. People that's just started DJing now, they don't even understand what it is like to carry crates of records up and down steps, and
Do you still have a lot of records, Will? Yeah. Do you have a collection?
I do. My whole garage is full of records.
Oh man,
my whole garage is full of shelves and shelves of records.
Oh man,
because that was that's when we had records. When you wanted to play, you had to play from records. But the limitation with records is if you go somewhere and you can't take them all with you, you're bound to leave something at home. That you want to play.
Right. Yeah, I don't have that. I can't play that. Oh man. Right.
Yeah, be like, yo, you got so and so. Nah, you ain't got that. What the hell? Because now you just pull it up on your computer.
Right.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if you saw the Rain System 1. But that's made it even easier because you can play from the internet right into the controller.
Oh, like instant, like that?
Yeah, it's instant. You can go to Apple Music and play a song from Apple Music right into the controller, like without downloading it or nothing.
Oh, that's nuts. That's a whole other level, man.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just going to keep expanding and expanding. I thought Serato was crazy when I first saw it. Like, DJ with a computer? It's a little crazy to me, but
it's the norm now.
But now it's getting even worse than that. Like people are just going around with thumb drives.
Man,
it's wild. Innovation is just it's crazy right now because you would never know where this all came from. You could even like some DJs today can't even fathom walking up and down steps with speakers,
carrying a crate or whatever,
crossovers,
Oh my God.
Carry crates of records.
Yeah.
And got to take a record off and put another record on, and take a record off, put another record on, you know what I'm saying? And you just never knew, like what this is as opposed to opening up your laptop.
Man, breaking a needle or something. Yeah, you have no idea.
Oh, yeah. Needles or records jumping, records skipping.
Oh, God, right. If it's warped a little bit, you didn't know it was warped when you put it on somehow.
Get warped in the sun, now you got waves, the needle going up and down.
Oh, man.
That's a whole different
I tried to put a
thing,
record
man.
in the oven to flatten it once. It didn't work. It didn't work so great.
That's not gonna work. Yeah. Once they get warped, it ain't going back. I've tried several things to get it. I've been out in the sun and put something heavy on top of it, like flat, and try to flatten it. And that don't work. Nothing worked. Nothing got it back to what it's supposed to be.
You can only play it on the side where the flop or whatever goes up.
Like I would have to put the needle all the way to like the only if the record has the cut I want to play is all the way close to the end.
Right, it's got to be
that wasn't as warped as the outside.
Or you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you don't know nothing about that. You don't know that. You won't know anything about that because you don't do that. And then now there's powered speakers, so you just got to plug from your mixer right into the speakers. You don't know about a thing of amp and plugging speaker wire in, crossovers to get the horns and the tweeters and the bass all be different. It's just all crazy now. You don't need all that stuff now.
No, man, it's
a very simple process today.
Yeah, you can travel easily with just just a couple little things that you can put in your pocket. In a laptop, maybe.
And you got a whole party. You got a whole party going on right in your pocket.
That's what's up, man. And I think that really kind of sums it up too. We're talking about 40 years of Lottie Dottie and 40 years of the show, and how much had to go into putting those songs together and the stage show and everything. And fast forward to now, 2026, where it must blow your mind sometimes when you think about like how much it was like a production to put all that together on the stage. And now it's just like just download it and put it. It's like so easy.
Or you're just walking with it. You got it in your computer already. If you don't have it, you'll have it in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
As
long as the signal's
it's
strong.
A whole different thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly. And you can just play. You can just find a song and play it and be ready to go. It's like back in the days, you had to go to a record store, and walk around and shop and grab a song, and pay for it, take it home.
That's the
and that.
thing.
Like, I've had so many different songs because if a record gets scratched, you got to go buy another one. And they ain't have one. You ain't got that now. You can just play a song. If it ain't gonna get scratched, ain't nothing gonna happen to it.
The days of that is over, man. It's good and bad, right? I have records still. I buy them to this day, but it's more almost like the novelty and just the collecting aspect of it. But I rarely play the record to hear it. I'll listen to it on Spotify or something as I also have the record. You know what I mean? It's like it's just an extra thing for me. But yeah, I know most people don't do it.
Right.
Records are more of like a fun thing that people buy now as like a hobby, but it's definitely not. You know what I mean? To actually sit and listen to it. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's sitting next to a record player with headphones on, like doing that anymore.
Right. Exactly. You know, but all that's over now. You know, going to record stores is over. You know, it's no, unless you go into like vintage places now.
Right.
You know, because nobody's making records no more.
I mean, a lot of the new music I see, like, you know, go to like a Target or something, I'll see like, you know, there'll be like Taylor Swift records and stuff like, which is, you know, all the current stuff. But again, that's just so people could have it as like a souvenir. I don't think they're really playing them like, you know, like that, you know. And of course, you know, for
that's
DJs,
what we did. You know, with the 40th anniversary is a record. You know, it's an actual wax. You know, but it's a collector's wax. It's not like to be played like DJs and you know. Right. Because
so live versions
really
on
play
there.
It, you know? Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I bought it last fall. It's amazing, man. With the picture of Doug and Rick on the front and the two extra versions on the back and with the live versions. And you just hear, like you said, going back to what you said at the beginning, how the songs evolved because there's different verses and different lyrics, and you know they're performed live, and it's just so different than the studio version that all of us are mostly used to. So, man, just so cool, man, to hear you just talk about that era, man, and how these two songs, you know, became what they were and what they are to this day. And like I said, I hear them all the time because there's new songs that come out that sample both of them, and I could play those songs right now. And it just takes me back. Those songs are just they still hit the same way, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I love it. It's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, we've been blessed to be able to continue to work and perform and feed our families and everything just from that beginning, you know, just from those beginnings and just all the way up until now. You know?
Yeah, man.
I love it. Yeah. I enjoy myself. I still enjoy music. I still enjoy new music, old music, different music. You know, you just got to be a lover of music, you know?
Right. Like you're discovering house, like you said. I mean, there's a lot of music out there that, you know, that's still to be heard. That's old and maybe even the new stuff. But, man, I got to check out Twitch. Let people know what else they can hear. I know you do a lot with, you know, Cassidy, with the Pass the Mic series. You want to promote anything before you go?
Pass the Mic. You know, we're doing Pass the Mic lives all over the place now.
So be on the lookout for that.
We just keeping it moving. I'm on Twitch every Tuesday. I'm on Twitch Tuesday at 6:00 doing this show called House Gumbo and under DJ Chill Will. Then I come back on at 11 and I do Slow Jam, you know, at 11 to 12.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, so we just, you know, I jump on because I still enjoy doing it. You know, I enjoy playing music. I enjoy listening to music. I listen to a whole bunch of DJs that are on Twitch, you know, that I would never have thought about listening to before. You know, some people I didn't even know were doing stuff. You know, it'd be like, oh, wow, you're on here? You know, this person's on here. Or there's a lot of DJs doing new stuff that you won't even know because they're not out there like, you know, like you don't know who they are. Like there's DJs I never heard of before that are killer, you know, that are destroying music, you know, like I'm like, wow, you killing it right now. So, you know, I find so many different colors on Twitch. Like when you just scrolling through and just see, hey, DJ so-and-so, like, you know, let me see what they doing. You'd be like, Easy Mo B. Is that B Easy? Let me go check that. And then you'd be like, wow, Joey, what are you doing on here? And he's playing all wax. He play nothing but wax. No Serato, no computer, none of that. Just wax and needle.
The community of people that you're around doing the Twitch and learning all these new DJs that maybe you wouldn't have been introduced to before, and the new sounds and music, it's just cool that it's growing you and growing your library of knowledge of music and everything as you go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do hip hop on Thursdays, but those are sporadic because I don't really have the time. Most of the time I'm gone. I'm not around, you know, whatever. So I do those when I can on the Thursdays. So because Tuesday was the day I picked because a friend of mine that comes on before me, I just started joining in with what he does, you know. So he was already doing that. So I was like, hey, I'll join you in this. Let me get some of this, you know, whatever. And I do the same thing on Thursdays, but a lot of my Thursdays I'm not here, you know.
So we're on
the road.
Yeah,
because we still work. You know, we work every single weekend.
Twitch is always live. Still. Like you couldn't do like a recorded thing, right? It doesn't work that way. Or does it have to be live whenever you go?
I could, but you know, the people want to. You know, when the people are in there,
they want to interact and
you know, you missing them. You know, you start shouting out people that ain't even in there. You know, they like.
I asked you about this song. You're not responding to me.
Right, exactly. You know, it's like because I'm not on here. You know, it's just not live.
I used to like you, Will,
so
but
a lot of people. and they don't come for that. Like I did one before where I said I'm gonna play one that I just do one and then play it and see what happens. And you don't get the same kind of response because it's not live. You're not interacting with everybody that's in the room at that moment. So it's a little lackluster when you've done it a certain way. It's just like somebody serving you something all the time and it's always good, and they decide to change it. It's not what it was.
No, man, the whole experience is about it being you there live in effect and people interacting with you.
Right,
so if you can't be there live, it ain't on, right? That's it.
Yeah, sometimes it's just better to just leave it alone. Just
right.
like, all right, well, I'm gonna just leave this alone.
Or have a cutout of yourself.
I'm not, right. Exactly. Even like I'm saying with this Tuesday, I can't. I'm not gonna be there, so I won't put nothing in there. I'll just be like, I'm not gonna be on Tuesday.
There you go.
I'll be on next Tuesday,
and they'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yeah, they'll be back and you'll be back. There you go, right?
Right. And we take it from there.
There it is. Everybody listening, make sure you check out DJ Chill Will on Twitch. Do you do Instagram or any of those other social media places that people can follow you on?
The real DJ Chill Will, but my Instagram and stuff are very I don't post. I don't really do nothing.
You're not really active on there.
Yeah. I don't really have no presence on none of that stuff because I don't take pictures a lot. I don't do a lot of stuff. So a lot of stuff that's on there, I don't really do. So it doesn't really do anything for me, because I don't really take a lot of pictures. I don't really do. I do a lot of stuff. Like I'm always.
I was going to say, you'd be somebody who should post all the time. I was
at the Super Bowl. I was at the All-Star game. I was at all this. I took 0 pictures, 0 video, nothing. So that's just, I think, and sometimes I just think I've been doing this so long that it's not second nature to me to just take pictures and stuff like that. I think if I was coming up in this era, I probably would be taking pictures all the time because I took pictures back when we started at the early days. But that's when I had, you had to take it to Walmart and get it
developed,
a drugstore and get it developed, and wait and go get actual pictures, get an actual picture. But I took pictures all the time then. But now it's like, okay, now I got a phone I got with me all the time that's got a camera on it, and I'll hardly take any pictures.
That's crazy. You actually have the ability to do it. You're like, I'm good.
Right, yeah, because I've done it so much before that now that I'm able to do it all the time, and I carry a camera with me all the time. I don't do it no more.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
I'm like the opposite because I didn't take any pictures. Like when people say, "Oh, I named some of the concerts I went to," I'm like, "Yeah, I have no pictures. I didn't bring a disposable camera with me because I don't want to carry it, so I don't have any pictures of the that concert." Like, so it's like, man,
right, exactly.
So people can't fathom it because that's all we do now: is take pictures of every stupid thing you do and post it immediately. And,
right.
It's like,
right, and see, and that's what I'm saying. That's not me. Like if you look at my post, you like the last post that was on here was like June 2025.
Oh, man. And you're promoting something probably, right? It wasn't even like
promoting Pastor Mike.
There it is.
Right. I think that's my last post.
Hey man, that's how it is. Hey, you're real about it. Don't come out here thinking you're gonna see.
It just doesn't. I just don't find myself doing that, for some reason. Like it's not, and I'm not. I don't have anything against it. It's not anything like that. It's just that it doesn't. I don't even think about that until it's over. You'd be like, oh man, I should have took some pictures. I was with so and so and this person and that person, and then and then what happens is sometimes people take pictures and I'm in the picture with them and they
post. Tag you. Or something,
you ain't take no pictures.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like, you ain't take no pictures while you was there. I'm like, I wouldn't even think about that. Like,
I'm living the moment.
That didn't even cross my mind.
Pictures are in my head.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the now, right? Now.
There it is.
That's it. But
this is the intervention.
It is what it is, man.
This is intervention show. Will you start taking more pictures? All right, you hang up this phone.
Right.
You can start posting more now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, man. I'm gonna try, and I keep saying that. I keep saying I'm going to, and it just never transpires into
It's
that.
all right.
You know, I just never. I'm gonna figure it out. Though. We're gonna get it all figured out.
There's a lot of things people like procrastinate about, like going to the doctor or something like that. You're like, maybe I'll get around to taking pictures. That's good. That's a good place to be.
Right.
You're doing good if that's all you got to worry about. That you're not posting enough.
Oh, yeah, just not posting enough. That's my biggest issue. You know what I'm saying?
You're fine, man. You're totally good.
Oh.
Man, it's such an honor talking to you once again, and man, just thanks for just picking up the phone and talking about Lottie Dottie in the show. Is, as I said, I can't say it enough. Is monumental for me. Those songs really take me back and kind of the genesis for me getting into this thing. And when people ask me what's an episode to play, one of the ones I always say, man, is like, go back to episode 86 when I had Chill Will on a couple years back. Go back to that one. So I'm doing a salute. You can't see it, but I'm saluting you. Big salute, Will.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. And you got me to watch these like old black and white Batman movies on my phone on YouTube. You were talking about that last time. So these really like old, not really that great, but fun to watch, like TV shows.
Yeah. Now you see all of the stuff in it that was like, I couldn't even believe I was believing this back then.
Oh my God! I mean, I feel like I could do these stunts. They just jumped 3 feet, had a towel around his neck. This is not even a real cape.
Oh my God!
But
I saw one the other day where Robin, he was falling off a building and Batman threw the bat thing down. And he said, "Catch it with your teeth." And he caught it with his teeth and he pulled him up by his teeth.
That's
I was like, "Oh my God!"
See, and you know what? It goes back to everything you said before. This is how it was. This is the entertainment we had, and to us, this was like the great special effects and stuff. And now you watch like the Avengers movies and everything else, and it's like it's not even you can't even fathom how people were watching this stuff.
Right. how you getting away with these Batman and all this stuff? How are they getting away with this?
Right, so innovative back then. How they just took the smoke and that came out and that's all they did is threw smoke on the ground, and that was a special effect.
Like Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. That was crazy.
Man, those some serious special effects back then, man.
Right, exactly.
Or now it's like it's you can't even compete.
Like, for real, like seriously.
Yeah, right. My 13-year-old nephew will watch like some new Jurassic Park movie. Be like, really? Look what we're doing here.
Right.
you want me to watch what?
Right, exactly.
This is boring.
Exactly.
Video games, all of that's all the same. Video games too, man.
Oh. Yeah. Like, what about asteroids?
Oh, right. Yeah, Frogger or, Pitfall or something.
Right. Exactly.
I joked on a recent episode that kids used to go outside all the time, but what happened was Nintendo came out, then we started going inside, and we didn't go out anymore because the video games are so good that we didn't want to go outside anymore. So
they don't even go outside no more. There's nobody outside playing now. What happens to the kids out in the street riding bikes?
No, it's over.
Those days are done.
No, I have a 6-year-old daughter. I can't let her
go
outside.
Go out no more.
No, they don't want to, and they don't need to. And here's the other thing,
right?
I'm not letting my daughter go outside unless I'm standing there watching. So,
right, exactly.
Because I grew up in the '80s with stranger danger and stuff, so we're scared. Where are you going to be at? I'll watch it the whole time.
Right. Oh, exactly. I get it. I understand.
Man, but
it's crazy, man.
But anyways, that era, man, it's special to a lot of us. So I'm sure a lot of people listening will be, they're just really thrilled to hear you talk about, Lottie Dottie, the show, and all this other stuff we're talking about that has nothing to do with it, like the old Batman TV show and everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But,
exactly.
But thanks again, Will, for coming through, and man, just much success. And everybody listening, make sure you check him out on Twitch. And the few times he might post on Instagram, look for him there. He might actually post something now. We'll see. So.
Right? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can put something together. I'll try to put something together.
There you go, man. Man, thanks so much for coming through, man. And everybody, make sure you check out the Pass the Mic series. Once again, just big thanks for coming through, man. I really appreciate it. And man, just much success, man. And thanks so much for coming on the show, dude.
Oh, no problem, man. Anytime.
You got it, Will. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much, man.
All right. No problem.
Man, that was fun talking to Chill Will. And I can't reiterate this enough. Compared to the episode you heard last that I put out, that was a chore to do. That was like an hour and a half. That felt like 7 hours that I had to cut down to 40 minutes to make it passable 6 years later. This right here is the opposite end of the spectrum where I would like to stay and remain, where I'm having fun interviewing somebody. It's more of a conversation. You know, we're laughing a bit. It goes into other places, but it's fine to go there. And it was an hour and a half as well, but it felt like 20 minutes. I can do that all day. So nothing but gratitude to Chill Will for coming on once again and talking about Lottie Dottie and the show. 2 songs that for me were monumental in me getting into the music and the culture that I'm talking about right now as you're hearing this podcast. So nothing but gratitude for Chill Will. It's a lot of fun talking with him. He always gets me excited about other things with these songs. I go back and play them. So he's talking about the show and that intro and how they took 2 different intros that he recorded and kind of pieced them together. And I never caught that before. So that's what's crazy. And I should have brought this up more in the interview. Lottie Dottie and the show both have parts where Slick Rick's singing songs, like for a little part of it. Like in Lottie Dottie, he's singing that part from Taste of Honey, that Because of You part. And on the show, he's singing that part from the Beatles when he meets that girl, Michelle. And I was thinking, like, man, I hear different versions of these songs all the time. When I played the show recently, it cut out the part where he's doing the Michelle Maybell part. And I was like, oh, man, why'd they do that? And I'm glad that I have a copy of both songs that include that. But I have other copies and other versions that cut it out. And it's like, it's frustrating because you want to hear the whole thing. You don't want it where it's, edited. And I'll hear it on like a platform. I'm like, oh, man, it went right to that. They cut out that whole, oh, man. So anybody out there, if you have that album or that cassette version where it has the singing part of Slick Rick doing both songs, it just makes a song that much better for both the show and Lottie Dottie. And I didn't know as a kid when I heard those that, I was going to be hearing different versions with those taken out later on and be like, why did it take that out? I didn't understand. I'm like 12 years old trying to figure this out. Why am I hearing a different version? Why does this tape have a different version than this tape does? So only some of you old school heads will understand what the heck I'm talking about. But I should have asked them more about that. But I feel like we kind of got to it. It's copyright stuff, and there it is. And it's just there for you like that. The 80s was a wild time. You could sample and do all kinds of stuff. And then once you got to a certain point, that was all done. It was all over with. But make sure you check out DJ Chill Will on Twitch at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. Starting March 17th, he'll be back on. He'll be out of town, so he'll miss this current one coming up. But I think it's on St. Patrick's Day. He'll be on doing Twitch for about an hour. He says he does like an hour every Tuesday. So I'll definitely check him out. I've never been on that app. I do remember he talked about it before when I had him on, and I totally forgot to do it, and I'm going to do it this time. So check out DJ Chill Will on Twitch, and be on the lookout for the Pass the Mic series with him and DJ Cassidy. They do a great job getting all those legends to come on and do songs and such. And yeah, it's always fun to see those. Those are really great during the pandemic. I mean, it was one of those things that got you through COVID was seeing the Pass the Mic stuff. I did look up Safe Harbor. So for those who are interested, the FCC has this thing where from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., supposedly kids are not listening to the radio, and you can play content that would have curse words in it. I don't know if that means you really could play it or you have to run it by somebody before you do it, but apparently as long as nobody complains about it, it's during those hours, I guess you can get away with it. So that's probably when Lottie Dottie got played back then. Like 12 o'clock, midnight. Some stations probably playing that, not editing it. I mean, compared to the stuff you hear now, I mean, it's really tame compared to the stuff that's out. But at the time, 1985, I mean, there's no songs like this saying what they said. So it's pretty crazy. I had to look that up. From 10 to 6, yeah, Safe Harbor. I remember that from my old radio era, going to school and everything. We had to learn about that stuff. And recording songs off the radio, that's not a lie. That's how I had to do things. And what I would even do to take it further from what I said to Chill Will, I would take that tape when I fell asleep the next morning, listen to it, and skim it. And on another tape, take the good songs from that tape and transfer them on the dual deck to the other tape. And then use that first tape again to record the next week of show. And do the same thing again. Now, the problem with that is, of course, the tape doesn't sound as good after you record on it so many times. But it reminded me of this time when I used to work at there's a sports talk radio station here in Chicago. 2003, I started working there as an intern. And one of my jobs was bulk erasing cassette tapes. And this is like right at that transition where you're going from, tape to digital. But we were still using tape. Like they would give a tape of like a coach talking about, a game or something. And after you used it, you had to bulk erase it. Meaning you put it on this conveyor belt thing, you press the button and it would go across then you flipped it over to do the other side, and you press that button again, it would go on the conveyor belt and would delete, erase everything on there. And we had to do this all the time. There'd be like a stack of tapes, and you just sit there like a mope, like you're like you're Lucy, like I Love Lucy or whatever. What's that episode where they're doing they're in the candy factory or something, and the conveyor belt's going too fast, things are going haywire. That's how it felt with these cassette tapes. I forget which one I actually, did it to, or which side did I do, and oh God, it was just like torturous work. Don't do that anymore. Those days are over. But going back to that year, 2003, when I was doing that, that's when I bought my first set of turntables. And when I started buying records, I knew that I could not do this or have a set of tables without having Lottie Dottie in the show. And at the time, it was the most expensive record I ever bought. I think I paid like $40 for it on that blue label. Was it Dania? I should probably pull it out. And it was it's used. It was an original copy. But man, I was like, I got to have it. I feel incomplete without this. You know what I mean? I can't have a crate of records. Feel like I could do a party or a set or something and not have these two songs in it. So that's how big these songs are, and that's how important they are to me. So yeah, big up to Chill Will talking about Lottie Dottie and the show. Once again, big salute to Chill Will. Check him out on Twitch on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and wrap up the Infinite Banter Podcast.
Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your man DJ Lord Jazz from the world famous Lords of the Underground. Right now, you're tuned in to the Infinite Banter Podcast with my homie always hitting you one time, making it funky, DJ Soundwave. Let's go.
Time for you to leave, assholes.
That's Kirk Acevedo telling me to get out of here. That's exactly what I'm going to do because it's like 69 degrees in Chicago and I'm in the house. I need to hurry and wrap up this episode and go outside, man. This is crazy. I turned on the grill yesterday for the first time since like September. I don't know what it was. This is just beautiful, man. Winter, I think, is gone. Old man winter's probably hanging around somewhere like, hold on. Hold my drink. I'm still coming. I got another snowstorm for your ass. But right now, it's great. So I can't complain. I know I wrapped up a lot of Chill Will stuff, but there's a couple more things I still wanted to get to here in this last segment. I'm planning a trip to D.C. in a couple weeks, and I was booking, because you have to book it online, a chance to go to the Library of Congress. I mean, I guess you could just show up. They prefer that you do it online and reserve a ticket, so I did that, whatever. But then I realized, I was like researching it a little bit, that Lottie Dottie is in the Library of Congress, which just blew my mind. And I started reading all the other albums and pop culture items that are in the Library of Congress. So like Fear of a Black Planet is in there, and the Low End Theory from Tribe Called Quest is in there, and Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is in there. I think I saw Rapper's Delight is in there. And it just goes to show you, oh yeah, Raising Hell was in there from Run DMC. I mean, I'm missing a lot because this is off the top of my head. I didn't write any of this down. But just goes to show you, kind of proves my point about why Lottie Dottie is so relevant. It's in the Library of Congress. And if I'd have known that before I talked to Chill Will, because I found it out after I hung up the phone with him. Who would have thought? You guys are recording this song and it's recognized by the Library of Congress. I mean, this is just bananas. Like, that's how major this song is. And that's why I felt it was important to do an episode about Lottie Dottie and the show, because these are two great songs. And I think everybody, if you haven't heard them in a while, go play them. Hopefully find the versions that have the Slick Rick singing parts in them. But if not, it's still great songs regardless. Chill Will was talking about how he doesn't post on his Instagram. He's right. I checked it out. There's not a whole lot of posts on there. Hopefully he'll start doing that because somehow I got him to do it. I'm sure he won't, but I'm guilty of it, that I post things as I'm doing something. Like I was at a Bulls game and I'm posting while I'm there. And I got to a point where I was like, dude, put the phone down and watch the damn game. So that's what I ended up doing. Speaking of that Bulls game, I want to talk about it, but not in this episode. My wife and my daughter and I all went to a Bulls game about a week or so ago, and there's a story behind it. I don't want to do it here. There's too much going on in this episode, but maybe the next episode I'll kind of talk about it. There's an interesting story behind it, so maybe I'll get into that in the next episode. But one last thing that Chill Will was talking about that made me laugh, because that's the thing with guests like that. I'm looking up so many things when I hang up the phone with them, and I'm looking up this Spider-Man show that I used to watch back in the 70s, because he was sending me, like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, and I was talking to him, he was telling me to go watch this black and white Batman show and Batman and Superman. They're so prehistoric compared to what they do now. Same with the Spider-Man show I grew up with. Spider-Man's not fighting any villains. There's no Sandman. There's no Hobgoblin. He's just fighting some guy named Larry, who messed up, something downstairs in the building that he's climbing on. But I loved it as a kid. Get the TV dinner Saturday night. You're watching Spider-Man. Yeah, he didn't swing on webs or anything, but I don't care. It was the dude running around dressed as Spider-Man, and it was awesome. But yeah, if I try to show that to some kid now, they'd be like, what the hell is this? Just like that Batman show. What is this? You watched this? You thought this was good? Yes, we did, jerk. But one last thing before I get out of here. So I saw that Bob Power had passed away, and many of you might not know who that is. So he was a studio engineer. He helped out with the sound and the production of so many albums, especially in the 90s, like albums like Low End Theory from Tribe Called Quest, and, you know, Erykah Badu's Baduism. He worked with De La Soul. He worked with Common, D'Angelo, Stetsasonic. I mean, you name it, he probably did something with it. So as a kid, when I would buy cassette tapes, I would notice that this guy named Steve Ett would always pop up on the cassette tapes as a studio engineer for like the Def Jam stuff. It's like, who's this guy Steve Ett? I see his name on all these tapes. And then you fast forward to the 90s. I mean, Tribe Called Quest actually says Bob Power on a record, but, you know, you look at the albums and you're looking at the names on there, and this guy, Bob Power. It sounds like a cool name, right? And he's a legend. And actually, there's a slight connection to me here. I mean, not really. I mean, it's not really a connection. But actually, in January, I tried to get him to come on the show. I actually emailed him, and he wrote me back saying that he would love to do it. And he sounded like he was, you know, ready to do it. He said, yeah, I can do it. I just got a few weeks. I got to get through some stuff, but let me, you know, see what I'm doing in March. So I was actually getting ready to email him. So Monday afternoon, I was like, I need to hit up Bob Power. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Put that on my Tuesday things to do. And, you know, a few hours later, I'm looking on Instagram like, oh, wow, Bob Power passed. Like, this is crazy. There's been so many tributes to him on Instagram and Facebook and anywhere you look. Everybody is just, you know, telling you how great he was and everything. And sounding like he was such a nice guy, such a great dude. I really wanted to hear that side of music. Like, what it's like to be on that side of the glass, doing that part of that. Because it's a job that you don't hear about. Those guys don't get a lot of credit. And I was really looking forward to hearing his stories about working, you know, on that side of putting these albums together. And, you know, he was, you know, like I said, he was really nice to me about it, and he said he would love to do it. Yeah, it's just really sad to see that he had passed away. So, you know, definitely rest in peace to Bob Power. Those of you who don't know who he is, just look him up. The list of albums and songs that he's involved with is just countless. I mean, there's so many great records. So definitely a salute and rest in peace to Bob Power. But this is the Infinite Banter podcast that you're checking out. Listen to it on all platforms. Rate and review it. Go on Spotify. Check out the playlist and the poll questions. Go on YouTube. Type in Infinite Banter for clips from past guests and reviews of toys on the things and stuff videos that I do on there. And go to super7.com/Infinite Banter podcast for our sponsor. And some of the figures that are on that site, I've done a review on YouTube. So go check out the things and stuff videos on there. You can find this show on social media at Infinite Banter Podcast. And once again, big thanks to Chill Will. Just a real blast having him on here. And go check him out on Twitch, Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. Go ahead and get yourself reacclimated with Lottie Dottie and the show. And rest in peace to the one and only Bob Power. That's it for me until I do another one of these. I'm out.
Hey, asshole, get off the road.
Being on the Infinite Banter with my man Mark has been a pleasure.